Speaking of Ohio State, dude, how about my guy Colin McCord?
He turned it up a little bit this week, man. Turned it up a little bit. I mean, they're still figuring things out, as a lot of programs are. I think we're feeling pretty privileged right now that our newcomer is pretty solidified through these first 2 weeks, but I think he solidified himself this week.
Yeah, I definitely think he's the guy. I'm also a little curious why we're just stagnant at 7.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I know the Texas completely valid. Like, you go into Bama and beat Bama, But you go ahead and jump. It's just debatable. Yeah. I think Ohio State's still ranked ahead of us.
Right.
So, I don't know if that's a little homer there.
I mean, I don't know. We know how that goes. Penn State, I still don't think we don't get the love and just we deserve. But at the end of the day, when we beat those two teams that we keep talking about,
90%,
all of that to go to rest. So we just got to handle what we need to handle. So
yeah.
Who else surprised you? Not surprised you, but what were some good games this weekend?
The Big Ten, I'll just kind of stay there. I thought, Ohio State answered some questions with Kyle. Marvin Harrison got back on track. That receiving room got going. Dude, unbelievable. He's a stud, dude. I thought Michigan, JJ went out there super efficient again. He was, 22 for 25 or something like that. Threw 2 touchdowns. They got it handled. I'm curious, though, Michigan really... you can make the same argument for a lot of teams at this point in time, but they really haven't had a test. I think you could say the West Virginia game was a little bit of a test for Penn State.
I mean, credit to those guys, though. As we talk about us, they've
handled business.
Stayed sharp, handled business, did what they had to do.
That's the two sides. But that's the two. Yeah, correct. But that's the two sides of the coin, right? Like, you can make the argument, but still, I'm a big fan of early tests for any program, especially if you're poised. And I think you've seen a shift in that with some of these traditional powerhouses. You see those Alabama going out and scheduling Texas week 2. And Georgia went and got Clemson. What was that, last year, 2 years ago? They went out and scheduled Clemson week 1 for the kickoff. So, like, there's... I'm a big fan of those, like, kickoff classics. Right. It was a big thing back in the 90s, I think even the early 2000s there for a little bit, and then everyone kind of shifted away and
focused on
as easy as you can with the out of conference schedules. But I'm a big fan of that because I think you find out who you are.
Yeah.
So relatively speaking, in the Big Ten, I think it was kind of quiet outside of that. I mean, Nebraska got beat by Colorado. I love it for Deion.
Right.
Keep that train going. We're going to really see what they're about. I thought the TCU game was a great game to schedule, but relatively speaking, you're talking about a team that lost its Heisman candidate quarterback, got beat in the national championship game by 60 points.
Some say should not have even been there.
Yeah, some do say that. But give it credit. Where they were ranked, who knows? But it's a program that is used to winning.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about Deion exploding on the scene, I thought it was a good choice.
Yeah. But it's exciting to watch, just from my standpoint.
Yeah. But then you got Nebraska who rolls in, old school rivalry. I think Ruley's still he's a year or two out. And the portal's a big thing. You can flip a roster quick, a la Deion.
Yeah.
But I think he's got to figure out some questions on the offensive side of the ball. But
defense was tough.
Yeah.
I mean, they let up 36 points, but they were fighting hard. Definitely didn't make it easy for Colorado.
Yeah. But relatively speaking, I think in the Big Ten, kind of quiet, business as usual.
Cool.
Actually, what happened with the Maryland game? I know they were in a dogfight with Charlotte.
Yeah. I mean, Charlotte's no slouch.
I had a couple beers and fell asleep late. That was when I was paying attention to, because we had, you remember, he was in our class, Henry Poggi. He went to Michigan. Yeah. He was he was at the Under Armour All-American game with me. Well, his dad, Biff, was at Gilman, which is a powerhouse in that Maryland, DMV area. And then he went to St. Francis, got that going. And then he went to Michigan with Harbaugh as an assistant, and he's the head guy at Charlotte.
Oh, okay. I mean, it says here, Maryland wound up taking over, beating Charlotte 38-20, but that's where Charlotte came out hot. 14 points off the bat to Maryland 0. And pretty much didn't score the rest of the game. It seems like Maryland handled business, but they came out hot. They were ready, it seems like.
It was a little dogfight. But
yeah, Maryland, they're set to really challenge the Big Ten this year, opposite of the last couple of years. Got a veteran QB defense is pretty strong. So we'll see. We'll see if they make some noise in the Big Ten. We'll see.
I'm really I've said this before. I'm really intrigued by the Big Ten coaching staffs as a whole. It's a really deep conference. Like, you know, we talked about Bielema at Illinois. You got Rulli at Nebraska now. You got Fickle at Wisconsin.
I really like Luke Fickle.
Yeah,
really
and you talk about the whole East, and then your traditional guys. You got Ferentz, long time stay. He's always going to be competitive. You know, so I just think as a conference, we got a lot of ball coaches, and I think it's, you know, the ever-changing landscape of college football. You can flip things quick. People can buy into things. Yeah,
belief.
It is what it is,
go
right?
A long way, man. That's why I really like Luke Fickle. Just short story. My time in Cincinnati, teammate of mine did like a little prayer group thing with some of the guys, a little mentorship type thing. Asked me to come. I said, sure. Luke Fickle, welcome. First time I'm meeting the guy, welcomed me in into his office. We're just talking ball. He remembered me from his Ohio State days. Didn't say I caused too much ruckus for those guys, but I think he was lying. I don't know. But nah, he's a cool dude. So simple things like that. That's why I like Matt Rule too. Yeah. Few instances I've met him in a bar at State College. They run some tour. He's a State College guy, I believe.
Yep. Grew up in State College.
Met him with B. Robinson, our guy, when we came in, had a beer. Cool guy. So I'm like, all right, that's all I need. I root for you. You know. But Big Ten football, big coaches are deep, very experienced, so we'll look out for that.